In the shadowy corridors of America's justice system, the stories of the youngest individuals facing the ultimate punishment reveal not only the gravity of their crimes, but the complexity of justice itself. This is their story. Ricky Allen Dubose, nicknamed Juvie, made national headlines in 2017 for a brutal double murder during a high-profile prison escape. By 2022, he became one of the youngest inmates on death row. His crimes, which claimed the lives of 2 Georgia correctional officers, shook the justice system to its core. At just 29 years old, Dubose faces his fate on death row. But his case also raises larger questions. Is the justice system adequately addressing the root causes of violence, or merely reacting to its aftermath?
Likes to brag about what he did. He thought it was a thrill kill. It's sad that a young lady is no longer among us because he wanted to experience the joy of murder.
In Florida, David Spar sits among the youngest on death row. Convicted of luring a woman online only to brutally end her life, Spar's story highlights the dangers of trust misplaced in the digital age. Born in 1991, Spar's chilling crime and lack of remorse during trial made headlines. For some, his age makes his actions even more unsettling. For others, it raises difficult questions about whether young offenders can truly comprehend the weight of their actions. Michael Bargo, born in 1992, is the youngest person on Florida's death row. In 2011, he masterminded a horrifying plot to kill 15-year-old Seth Jackson, a crime so violent it shocked even seasoned investigators. Bargo's role as the ringleader of a group murder marked him as irredeemable in the eyes of the court. But as he sits in his cell today, the debate over how we treat young offenders continues to spark controversy.
We, the jury, unanimously find that the defendant, Michael Shane Bargo Jr., should be sentenced to death. Yes.
Michael Bargo holds his head after hearing he is sentenced to death for the second time on Tuesday. In 2013, 10 out of 12 jurors decided he should be put to death, but since then, a new state law requiring that death penalties be unanimous gave Bargo another chance. Prosecutors say Bargo was the leader in a group's plot to kill 15-year-old Seth Jackson at a Summerfield home.
A 15-year-old child knew he was being dragged back into a house and was going to die.
Bargo and 4 others beat and shot Jackson to death 8 years ago. The group burned his body and disposed of it in paint buckets, which were dumped into a water-filled quarry. The defense argues Bargo suffers from mental illnesses and should be spared.
He was not taking any medication for any of the mental illnesses that he had been diagnosed with.
The judge explains to the jury the new rules.
If you do not all 12 agree, then you check no.
And a few hours later,
has the jury reached a verdict?
We have.
Each of the jurors decide Bargo should be killed.
In 1986, Paula Cooper became the youngest person sentenced to death in modern U.S. history. At just 16 years old, her role in the robbery and murder of a 77-year-old woman shocked Indiana and the world. Her sentence was commuted following international outcry, including a personal plea from the Pope himself. Cooper's case remains a landmark moment in the fight against the death penalty for juvenile offenders.
On what may have led Paula Cooper's apparent suicide, Cooper was once the youngest person on death row in Indiana. Police say she shot herself Tuesday morning. Her body was found in a wooded area near her house. We now know Cooper left behind a suicide note describing her struggle to have a life outside of prison, where she spent 30 years of her life. She was originally sentenced to death for the murder of a 78-year-old Bible school teacher, but her sentence was later reduced to 60 years behind bars. She was released in 2013 and was last working for the Federal Public Defender's Office here in Indianapolis.
In 1944, George Junius Stinny Jr. became the youngest person executed in the United States during the 20th century. At just 14 years old, he was accused of murdering 2 white girls in a racially charged trial that lasted less than a day. Decades later, Stinny's conviction was overturned, but his case serves as a harrowing reminder of systemic racism and the failures of the justice system. The lives of Ricky Dubose, David Spar, Michael Bargo, Paula Cooper, and George Stinny Jr. force us to confront our beliefs about crime, punishment, and redemption. As we grapple with these stories, one question remains: is justice truly blind, or does it carry the weight of our biases, fears, and failures?